Pleasant good morning, one and all. Good morning. Welcome to today's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today, Wednesday, the 14th day of August in the year 2024. Welcome, one and all. Hope you had a good night's rest. Hope you're looking forward to a productive day and for the productive rest of the week, the month, the year. And welcome, one and all. It is so good to be in the land of the living. It's good to be here this morning to share valuable, credible information with you. As you say, share the live. Let people know that we're on. The schoolyard is ram-packed this morning. Schoolyard jam-packed. I scheduled the program just about 7, and immediately the students started to rush into the schoolyard. We have scores and scores of students in the schoolyard this morning. It's always good to see you there, and it encourages us to make sure that we do the research, we come and we bring you the information. We have lots and lots to tell you this morning, as usual. You know, there's never a dull moment in this land called Guyana, never a dull moment. So you leave here, we left here on Monday with plans to talk about certain things, and then things come up that you have to address, important issues that you have to address, and we will do so this morning. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is already in the studio, and we say, give praise and thanks to the Lord. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's give praise and thanks to Him. Let's rejoice for being in the land of the living. So many persons will not have been this fortunate. So share the live, give us the thumbs up. We have hundreds rather, and we have got just about 20 thumbs up at this stage. So a lot of you are not doing what you are supposed to do. We are going to continue to do what we are supposed to do. So you just come, share the live, and give us the thumbs up, and that is all that we ask of you. So yes. Welcome. We have lots to tell you this morning, So the usual format, we'll do the roll call, we'll make the announcements, and then we're going to dive into some very juicy stuff this morning. So sit back, get your Cokes and your popcorn, or whatever snacks you have to get, and be ready to partake, to be entertained, to be educated as we go along. So welcome, one and all. Again, I say share the live and let them know that we are here on this Wednesday for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. So I'm going to do the roll call very quickly. I have to fly through it because we have lots of students in the schoolyard. So I'm going to go as quickly as I can. So bear with me. You're not going to be deprived of any information. But we have a format. We got to stick to the format. As I said, the program was scheduled just after 7. And at 7:02, the first student was in out of the UK, Wayne Liddell, first man. He was followed by Marcia, then Tessa I from Florida. Jakey, early in class, you're early in the schoolyard every day, my brother. Good to see that. Then I have my squad mate, Carlton Lewis, is here in the class. He came in at 7:04. Also at 7:04, we had Joan. Then same time, we had Dexter, and this is Dexter McAllister. Forgus came in at the same time. Then it was Randolph Vibort, and this is Vibort Lawson, followed by Malcolm Robinson. Trati is here. Then we had Sydney Clarence Lynette out of the UK is here. Princess All from Lamar Springs. Anthony, and this is Anthony Jarvis, because immediately after that Anthony, there's another Anthony Bradshaw, the man from Peters Hall. And then Maury is here. John, Ian, Pito, 8152 is in the house. Then he was followed by Evelyn. Gaston, my squad mate, 9556 from Canada is here. Cecile, Peter, Brian Saul, Colin Stanford, 11872. Stanford is in the schoolyard. George Calder is here from BV. K, who had a birthday recently, is here. Howard is in the class, in the schoolyard. Courtney is here. There's another Saul. Then we have Carlisle. Lucius came in at 7:13. Hazel. Raul came in. The red man, Raul George, came in this morning. He's from Brooklyn. He came in at 7:15. Ezzy came in shortly after. Anchor Paul. Como, 8216, Kamabachi came in. And then we have Winston from California. he was followed by Marcia, and then Patricia. Patricia is saying that she'll be celebrating a birthday soon. Advance birthday greetings to you. Emerson is here. Original Black Man. Patricia. And this is Patricia Gravesandi. Then we have Corinne Francis Keith from Melanie. Aubrey Plantless from Canada. 9053 was his regulation number. Gabo 6659, I think it was, is here with us. Old Police. Mark Bort, sorry. Then we have Magnell Rayborn. Rayborn number, he says, was 10079. Then we have Vibert, another Vibert. John Machu. Pamela from West Dem. Akko. Ronald. Sean Maxwell. Queenie is here. Welcome, Queenie. Sandra. The Secretary, Denise. Earl. Lennox. Carl. 12352, I think was Carl's number. Floyd. Danny. Danny is here. Danny is here. Danny, I'm sure detectives like you, old detectives like you, Angel is on the live. Vibert is on the live. And so many other outstanding detectives. You must be groaning when you see what's going on in the police force now. Pastor Smith is here. Pastor Smith, 9339, old TSU colleague of mine. Felicia, Marcus, then it was Dav, Wayne, Colin, Barbara, Mandela Gandhi, long time no see. Ulrich from West Demerara. Denise Moore is here. Melissa. Then we have Moses Barlow, another Barlow is here. Lorraine, Mary Smith, she's from Brooklyn. And then we have Debbie from Providence. Aileen Norton. Aileen, girl, the thing where you say about the cricket tomorrow on West Indies, I ain't too sure about that. But we're going to talk about this a little later. Look, Vibert, another outstanding former detective is here. Pauline. And then we have Barled, the Orient from the UK. He was followed by Natasha Vibert, another Vibert. Vibert White from the East Bank of Demerara. Then he was Rastaman. Rastaman is here. Annette, Maureen, Ainsworth, Mason, K. Then we have Winston from the UK. Then Nigel, Aubrey, sorry. Then after Aubrey, it was Glendon, Rhonda, this is Rhonda Chance, Neville, Allison, Grace. Good to see you, Grace. Edda is here. After Grace is Edda. Bonita from West Coast Barbies. Desiree is from Georgia. Then we have Walterine is in the house. Colin, and Colin was followed by Kurt. Kurt says his number was 14598. Tom Cat is here. Tom Cat is in the house. Carl, my squad mate from Arizona. Jacko from Georgia, but he's now tuning in from Corriverton. Evanlina. Devian Pollard is here. He and his wife. So there's two. We get two for the price of one. Patricia is here. Dwayne, Paul, my shootmate, my shooting buddy. We are still grieving over the loss of Ransford. Shalon is here. Colin. And this is the next Colin. Ari. And then after Colin it was Bobby's 86. And Bobby's 86 said that she or he is from the Netherlands. And this time on your program. She's watching from the Netherlands. This is the first time on the program. Welcome, Bobby's 86. Doreen, my squad mate from Canada, is here. Kerry from Georgia. Sorry, Kerry from Maryland. Sorry, Kerry, I'm moving out. Morton, Umi, Siobhan, Farina. Then after Farina is George. Ovid 0937. And then Terrence 9795. He's from Canada. Tiffany Smith. Russ Ricardo. Michael R. Crawford. Then it was the man from Texas, Everett, followed by Clive from the UK. Wayne I, are you related to Tessa High? We have Tessa I and we get Wayne I. Sharon from the UK is here. Jacqueline Forbes. Rhonda, this is Rhonda Lane from Denham Stell in the house. L. Ben. Then we have Lance is here. Then after Lance, it was Karen, Orette, Sherwin, Delan, Courtney. Then we have, and then this is Aileen came back here to say that tomorrow the test match starts, the second test match starts, West Indies versus South Africa, and she hopes West Indies can win this one. Well, I'm going to touch on that a little later just now. Gary, Monica, Terrence King, 9135. He is from all the way from California. Then it was Mr. G, O'Neill, Rohan Jawar, 12863. Then it was Tony, Brenda, MH. Can't recall seeing MH before. Welcome, Philip or Phil. Then it was Angel, Carville, Trevor, John Fraser. John said we are still we're still grieving over a good friend Ransford who was buried last Wednesday. There's here. Simo, cricketer Simo. I've lost Simpson. You knew him as Joseph Simpson. Same person. Stefan, Charles Britton is here. Connolly, Johnny. Then it was Ann, Norbert, Morty, Donna, Orville, Dorrit, Chilo, Donis, Kevin, Simoa, Allison, Jono, Lyndon, Cornbread. Sean is here from Schenectady, Cranston. Then it was after Cranston, we have Gordon. Then it was Oslin, Brennan, Bailey McKittin. And then it was the last person, there was Theodore on the YouTube. And then the first person, always in the first one or two, Edward Charles Isaacs on Facebook. Abnud is here. Popo is here as well. And then we have Karen, Joyce, Joan, Danny Slow, my cousin, Lennox, and the list goes on and on and on. So, yeah, we have the roll call there now. And let me make the announcements, then I'm going to bring in Mr. Conway. Now, we start off with this sad announcement, death and so on. We have the death of former sergeant, I think he was when he retired, Bahadur, 15078, old TSU man. Remember Slim Indian guy, Bahadur? He passed away recently, we understand. And I also learned that Dr. Balwant Singh, there are two, the one with the hospital. We're not talking here about the one with the hospital in East Street. There's another Balwant Singh. He had his clinic at Parade and Barrack Street some years ago when I lived in that area. And then he moved to Camp Street next to Shanta. I learned yesterday that he passed away recently. I want to take this opportunity to express condolences to the relatives, friends of those deceased persons. May God grant them the peace they deserve. And then to go on to the happier news, today is the birth anniversary of one Carl Roberts, retired Assistant Commissioner Carl Roberts. He was once my 2IC at the TSU there. A member of the police officers cricket team, a very good member of the police officers cricket team, ball in the left-handing, slow spin, octave spin. And then he was a very hard-hitting left-handed batsman, very pugnacious. Carl is celebrating a birthday today. And then recently we had another former member, Orin Major, 9614 Major. He celebrated a birthday recently. I want to wish all those who celebrated, observed their birth anniversary recently, all the best. Hope you enjoyed the day and that you live to see many, many, many more birthdays. So that is for the announcement. Well, one other announcement. We talk about the cricket. The second test match starts tomorrow at Providence Stadium. Aileen is saying she hopes West Indies could win that one. Well, let me keep open. But the wicket of Providence is known to favor the spinner. And based on what we saw in the first test with Maharaj tormenting the West Indies batsman, one can expect perhaps a similar tormentation. But let's see. As West Indian, we're hoping for the best. But let's keep our fingers crossed that they give a creditable performance. And then I told you about the anniversary of Course 74. My course, Course 74. We observed our 50th anniversary on the 1st of March. Some did so on the 15th of February. And those in North America, especially in New York, plan to have a get-together on the 31st of this month, on the 31st of August, from 7 p.m. at a restaurant called La Mode. I hope I pronounce it right. La Mode. It is located at 1402 Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn. The plan is that we're going to get together there, have something to eat, have something to drink, reminisce on the good old days, and enjoy each other's company. 50 years ago, just over 50 years ago, we went into the training school and became members of Course 74. So I know when members are here, Course 74 are here, on the live here. So that's a reminder that the function is still on, and for you to tell the others so that we can meet, we can sit down, we can chat, we can talk about all those good days we had in the farm, on the drill square, those of us who went to Kilibibiri, all of that. We have a lot to reminisce on. So, yes, so that is by way of announcement. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. CC, welcome.
Thank you. Morning. Praise the Lord. We're in the land of the living and we're doing God's work and they can't stop us. They could try all kind of thing, but they can't stop us. We're doing God's work. My deepest sympathy to the family, relatives, and friends of Bahadur. I can remember him well. I have fond memories of the college at Adventure. I remember I was on leave and my favorite commissioner Larry was sent for me and said, go on a Friday afternoon and say, go and take over, go and set up Borby's College for me. And I said, from when every Monday morning, find yourself in Borby's. Thank you. God bless you. I remember Winston Felix was the commander in Borby's and we did the God's Day, you know. But I remember Badu well, and he was a very good drill man too, you know. So, sometimes he stood in as the right marker. And I remember he was in the winning team, the team that won the forest drill competition that Larry Lewis had put in place. And of all people, we beat a team from TSU, you know. So I know Bardo very well, and we established a kind of father-son relationship, you know, from there until the end. A happy birthday to Robbie. Continue batting, continue hitting hard, you know. But then again, Robbie, it's not how hard you hit, you know, it's how well you play. So let's get on with it.
Yeah, I remember that. Let me tell you something briefly about that drill committee you talked about. I was officer in charge at TSU at the time. I organized that, set up that drill competition. The first ever drill competition in the Guyana Police Force was on the day of the competition, just before the competition. I was on leave. And the very Roberts that we're talking about here now, who's celebrating a birthday, Carl Roberts, he was my 2AC, so he was actually in charge at the time. And look, the whole thing went crazy when TSU, because we were the favorite to win the competition. And we lost to this thing from people from Borbies, this squad from Borbies. And the next year and thereafter, we destroyed them, you know, because I can't tell you what all the tricks that we use, but it's supposed to be silent drill. But we discovered that Borbies people had, they were given a signal when they were to turn again. Psst, psst. And of course, the TSU being the TSU, they did something to upset the whole thing. The next year they came around. So these are the things you got to sit back and reminisce and laugh about. Yes, so yes, I remember that competition very, very well. No, I'm not making an excuse, Mark. I'm just saying what happened. We lost fair and square. But thereafter, we discover that even though it was a silent drill competition, they had signals. Most people when they do silent drill, they have a little signal when you to turn and so on. So instead of giving out the timing, 1, 2, 3, 1, they used to give, psst, and that just used to move, psst, the next move and so on. We picked up on that, and we did them a number thereafter. Yeah, well, let me move on. What I got to tell you, the first thing I want to talk about, it came to attention in recent times. A lot of people are afraid to travel through the U.S. Some are traveling, and they're getting pulled in to questioning. The phone getting searched and all this everything. Not many of them. And I understand that recently, a man from the PSC was pulled in Miami and questioned at length. And so PSC, they get several PSCs in Guyana. So PSC is Private Sector Commission. PSC is Police Service Commission. PSC is Public Service Commission. And I tell you all one that you all know about. They got another PSC, Paul Slow, the champion. But I could tell you, it's not Paul Slow, the champion, get pulled in and questioned. A member of one of those other three was pulled in Miami. They said that he close to a big man in the country, very close. They pull him for fitness and questioned him at length. And then we were told of this family that attempted to leave on vacation, turn up at the airport, whole family, I think about 4 or 5 of them, only to discover that their visas were cancelled. So a lot of things happening. And according to, I can call the name because I'm afraid of anything. He said Robin Singer made a post. He said if you're passing through any airport in the U.S. and you sneeze and it sounds like Hashudin, it's pulling for fitness. That is what he said on a social media post that if you're passing through the US, don't sneeze and let it see. Normally you sneeze, yes, shoe. That's certainly. But if you sneeze and it sounds like Hashadin, it's fitness to get police by the U.S. authorities. So yeah, a lot of them, one from the PSC, one from the PSC get pulled in. They say close to a big man in the country, get pulled in and he get questioned at length. I know what they questioned him about, but he was questioned at length. And they emphasize the fact that he is known to be close to a big man in Guyana. So when you're passing through, these businessmen understand they're taking vacation any longer. They even taking chance to go to Trinidad or go to Barbados. We can remember when Roger Khan was arrested in Suriname and was to be extradited to Guyana. Remember Suriname? Those of you who don't know, Suriname shares the border with Guyana, east of Guyana, which is quarantine, west of Suriname, right over the river there. He was extradited to Guyana via Trinidad. He came to Trinidad, and when he went there, the feds were there waiting for him to take him to the US. So a lot of businessmen, so-called businessmen, are afraid to travel. Maybe they got something to hide. They don't want to be pulled in. They don't want to be questioned. We can remember that didn't talk, I told y'all that didn't talk and that didn't get a sweet deal. Sentenced to time served. So you know who name he call, you know who implicate, but the feds know. The feds know, the U.S. authorities know. So when the U.S. authorities run through May Thomas' phone, run through Caesar phone, and all that thing, I'm sure they were able to harvest a lot of information. So people bought a bite. Them bought a bite. Right? You see Brutus stockpile bales and bales and hundreds of rolls of toilet paper in the police place. You know what they coming up? A lot of shit in, so enough toilet paper stockpile. So yes, so I heard that one. Now, talking about Brutus, today is the 35th day since they say he went on leave. He proceeded on leave on the 11th of July, 2024. Today is the 35th day. And we are hearing much about this investigation that was going on and any such thing. CC, let me bring you in for now. I gotta go and get me charger because they say that the computer almost dead. So go ahead, CC.
Yeah, because we're not sure what really happened with this investigation with Brutus and others. We've run into a wall of silence. Here it is, serious allegation being made, amount to over $1 billion, and they asked Suku to investigate. Suku, with no known track record of having successful prosecution, they don't want overseas people to come and conduct the investigation. The other day, Bahamas invited the British people because there's serious allegation against the head of the CID there. So we really don't know what what form this investigation is taking place, because apart from the large amount of cash, there's a multiplicity of persons and departments that need to be contacted, like the police finance office, the police credit union, the breakdown mess, the training school mess, the SC mess, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Finance, because all those persons who should have been there to conduct checks and balances and didn't do anything, they are complicit also. So this thing has got to be wide-ranging investigation that Suku cannot do. Doesn't have the technical competence or the professional competence to conduct. But no, and they can put this on the red carpet, the no action red carpet. It got to go on, and we will continue to highlight, we will continue to push, because this here is unbelievable. never happened before. The magnitude of what took place, of the allegation. So we know that it has got to go on. An investigation has got to continue. But we're saying with overseas assistance, with overseas supervision.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you fully. As we said, we can continue to talk about it. Soku cannot. Because I get the word that people at Soku compromise. They're too involved in run-ins. They're too involved in run-ins. That is the allegation. We have an allegation that they got to tread with Brutus and the extended squatter very carefully, because if they decide to spill the beans, it's everybody going down. And men telling one another, I ain't going down alone. If I got to go down, it's all of we going, because all of we involved in skullduggery. That is the word that is going around. All of we involved in skullduggery, and me ain't going down alone. That is what is being said. Now let me come to the next issue. The issue is, and somebody saying, because we're hearing now that one of them who is supposed to be part of this whole thing, he has a son. That's what you're hearing. All these are allegations that should be investigated. With a bank account of over 40 million Ghana dollars. A son, some 3 or 4 years, some age like that. Over 40 million Ghana dollars. The people are saying, and these things, they might not be true, but then you require a credible investigation to dispel these things. That is what is required. So I don't know what is going on. 35 days since this man said, they said he go on leave. That is what they said. He requested to go on leave. And what the police statement said? Let me see if I can get it here. Here what the police statement said at the time. I think this was issued on the 11th. Consequent to allegations of financial impropriety leveled against Deputy Commissioner Acting Calvin Brutus on social media and established media houses, Calvin Brutus has since requested permission to proceed on annualized vacation leave with immediate effect to facilitate an investigation in the best interest of the Ghana Police Force. Permission was granted by the Commissioner of Police through the prescribed procedure. That is the police release. In the best interest, it is in the best interest of the Ghana Police Force for the world to know what has happened with this investigation. It's in the best interest of the force. You talk about transparency, and therefore let people know where the investigation stands. As we asked on Monday, has this allegation been put to Brutus as yet? If so, was he cautioned, and did he elect to give a statement or refuse to, as he is constitutionally covered to do, not to give a statement? All of these things should be told to the public. That the allegation was put to him, and he was cautioned, he denied. Investigations are continuing. Allegation was put to him, he was cautioned, he elected to give a statement, and in his statement he denied. These are basic things. You're not going to tell us about the nitty-gritty of the investigation, but if you're talking about transparency, that is a minimum requirement. That is a minimum requirement. So we are going to stop talking about it. So you could send out the Volkswagen, you could send out all of them. We are going to stop that. Somebody sent me a post, the Volkswagen, I am now Pauline Slow. Me mind, say what you want to say. Can we get another female name too? But let me say, my masculinity has never been questioned. So when the Volkswagen the thing, put on social media, Pauline Slow and something Conway, some female name, that ain't bother me. That ain't bothered me. I have never ever had my masculinity questioned. So me and body with them. Let me ask CC if you see the thing. CC is what your name, man. I can't remember what your name is.
I think it's some Candace or something like that. Yeah, but I didn't bother with it because, like you, I have my masculinity. I'm still potent, and I've been with my wife since 1976. I get children and I get grandchildren, so I'm there. You can't doubt me.
Cannot be doubted. You cannot be doubted. You cannot be doubted. But that's childish. It's more than childish. It's more than childish. That is why my mother warned me many, many years ago. Don't play with dog. Don't mix sport with little boy. And don't mix sport with another category. She warned me, so you don't bother with them. So they can put them out to say, we are not going to be distracted. We are going to be focused on revealing all the corruption that is going on. Talking about corruption, Well, this is not corruption necessarily, but there's an item that we want to talk about now. We saw on this is August the 12th, 2 days ago. News source, this garden mostly news source, or selling businessman nabbed with AK-47 and ammunition and large quantity of cash. That is what it says. And he goes on to say a businessman from Orstelling on the east bank of Demerara is facing serious charges after police ranks found an AK-47 assault rifle in his home with matching ammunition and a large quantity of local and foreign cash. 42-year-old Anemi was arrested on Sunday after the illegal AK-47 assault rifle and matching rounds of ammunition were found at his home during an operation. The police said the search took place around 6:25 p.m. and it was done based on intelligence gathering. We're going to talk about this just now. The police and said the businessman was informed that the ranks were at his property to search for arms, ammunition, and drugs, and he consented to the search. Let me read that back. The police said the businessman was informed that the ranks were at his property to search for arms, ammunition, and drugs, and he consented to the search. During the search, the police said they discovered an AK-47 rifle wrapped in a brown towel inside a washing machine on the lower flat of the property. The man confirmed that he did not hold a firearm license when asked by the police, and he remained silent when cautioned about the alleged allegation of possession of firearm without a license. Additionally, 29 live matching rounds were found inside a magazine, and 30 live matching rounds of ammunition were discovered in a pair of black and white socks wrapped in a towel. Police also found 6 live 9mm rounds of ammunition in a bedroom of the upper flat of the house. Additionally, the police found over 11,000 Canadian dollars, over 1,583 US, and 480,000 along with other foreign currency. The money, the assault rifle, and ammunition were all seized and lodged with the police, a police station. The businessman remains in custody and expected to face court before midweek. Now, we got a lot of things that we want to talk about here. Let me start off. They say this was an intelligence-led operation. So although the police had intelligence, that is what they're saying, that illegal stuff, this man had illegal stuff, including a firearm, right? I guess they wouldn't, I don't know if the information or the intelligence they've got would have said what type of firearm the man had, but they are saying this is an intelligence-led operation. And yet they did not seek to secure a search warrant. They have intelligence. Good work. You got intelligence, good work. That this man get gone. The next step, the next legal step is that you're supposed to make sure you go and get a warrant, a search warrant, so you can legally search the premises. They did not do that. They tell you now that they went to this place and they told the man that they were there to do a search, and the man consented to the search. Now you tell me this. And they didn't say Marie. They didn't say Marie. So it's not a Nancy story they're telling, which we know it is. You tell me, this man got AK-47 with a whole set of ammunition in the house, illegally, he ain't got a license, and he telling you he consenting to you come search? You telling me that sounds logical to you? That is what they're saying. And let me go further to say that the problem that we have, I believe, is because they're going to go to court, they're going to say these same things, right? And the court is not going to suppress the evidence. In other jurisdiction, there is no way you can even bring a charge. In other jurisdiction, the director of public prosecutions or the district attorney in the U.S. will never permit this to go any further. And the ranks who executed that search would be disciplined. They would be disciplined in other jurisdiction. But this is a Wild West country. Guyana is a Wild West country. Again, I say, and this is policing, yes, you do good work and you gather intelligence that this man get a licensed firearm. The next thing to do is to go to the court or to go to a justice of the peace and secure a search warrant which authorizes you to go and search for these things. But they ain't doing that. And then they're telling you that when they went to this man place, they tell you, let me read this part again. Let me read this part. The police said the businessman was informed that the ranks were at his property to search for arms and ammunition and drugs. And he consented to the search. He consented. So this man know, and I'm going to talk about that a little later, that this man get illegal arms and ammunition. So they want to tell us this man get illegal arms and ammunition. And he tell the police, all right, come and search for this illegal arms and ammunition. That is what they want us to believe. And let me say this, and this is where the policing or a lack of policing knowledge comes in. This corporate propaganda unit, this very statement that they're making, any good liar can use that against them because you're talking about possession. The possession has to be either actual or constructive. Actual mean he get it money. Constructive mean it does some place where he has control over it. So the question can always come up, whether the fact that you're saying that this man allowed you to go and search, whether the man knew that this thing was there. People lawyers might want to say, well, the fact that this man allowed you to come and search, he had no knowledge of this weapon and so on being there. You see, these are the things that the corporate propaganda unit don't understand. And they write a lot of BS. And later on, you get to court, you run into problem. Because I am saying that if this man had a unlawful AK-47, you get a whole set of ammunition, you get a license, right? You don't have a warrant. So you went there and you told him you come to search your drugs and things. And he tell you, all right, come search, knowing. That's where the mental state, the mens rea comes in. He knows that he has this illegal thing, and then he's inviting you to come and search. That sounds logical and sensible to anyone. And therefore, they might very well argue these liars that, yeah, the man, he allowed you to search because he had no knowledge that these illegal items were there. He had no control over, he had no actual possession, he had no constructive possession. That is the type of legal argument that is likely to emanate from this foolish statement that they are giving. Foolish statement. Yeah, by what they don't know to obtain a search warrant, which is a basic thing. And then, before I bring in Mr. Conway, you search and you find arms and ammunition. You said you find arms and ammunition. The man, you say he's a businessman, and he has cash in the place. You seize the cash too. For what reason? Is the cash illegal? Why would you seize the cash from the businessman? And I hope that the numbers that they give, them figures of how much US, and I hope this is correct. I hope this is correct, right? I hope you see, they open themselves to all type of blows when you go and do this bad policing, unprofessional policing. And then you got an unprofessional public relations or public cooperations unit, ignorant, unprofessional, lack of knowledge. They give a release like this, which put the case in a funny position, right? Because if you're saying, as I said before, that this man, you had no warrant, so you want to say that the search was authorized by the person. You go and you tell this man you come to search your arms, ammunition, drugs, and so on. And then you say, the man tell you, this man no, can't tell you. He knows that he has these things there. And he said, well, come and search. Come and search. That then sound logical. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. Yeah, see, let me hear your view on this matter, man.
Well, perhaps then I read in the standing order number 76, which speaks about warrants. And I'm in the training mood, and they get different type of warrants. They get arrest or apprehension warrant, commitment warrant, distress warrant.
See, permit me to interject. You said I get commitment warrant. Police said no. Police said it named sentencing warrant. That's what the corporate communication uses, sentencing warrant. We know about that. Go ahead, sorry about that.
I remember that ejection warrant, and this current one we're talking about search warrant. And if you're going to enter people's places you're searching for things, you must have a search warrant. You must have a search warrant. And for you to obtain the search warrant, you have to go to a magistrate in whose jurisdiction the offense is alleged to have been committed. And if the magistrate isn't there, you go to a justice of the peace. And you swear, if it's because you have warrants, you can apply for warrant under the Criminal Law Offences Act, and I think the form is Form 17. And on the Summary Justice Act, the Offences Act, Form 60. And you go and if when it's a criminal offense, you will swear to an information, and the magistrate or the judge of the peace will sign it, and then that's their authority to go and sort. But it must be clear. You must say exactly what you are looking for. But I remember my friend, my one of my mentor, CID mentor, when I was a little constable, Smith, 7464 Bible Smith, they used to put in another and any other matter of evidential value, whatever the way you mean. But it must be clearly stated what you think. And don't do like what they do. Remember when they were investigating Nanalal for, when I say teach some law books. And there was it. The police officer went in open court and applied for a warrant. And the magistrate too said, "Oh, a warrant for Nanlal, I'll come back at 2 o'clock." And by 2 o'clock, I understand information leaked to Nanlal, and by 10 the police reached there, he adopted a certain course of action, and they couldn't find anything. So if you get a warrant, things are supposed to be secret, because we know police behave. Sometimes police station know that you're going to warrant, and they call a friend, "Hey, police coming by, get rid of the stuff," as the case may be. And also when you execute the warrant, if you find things that you're looking for, you have to work all back the warrant, state that between what you executed and what you found. And also there's supposed to be a warrant book at station that you write up, so you have proper records. And then we talk about possession. Paul, you mentioned possession. We get actual or constructive. Repeating what you say, that the actual you find it on the person, in the pants pocket, in the waist area. And constructive, it is elsewhere but under his control and his intention to treat it as his own. That's why we talk about the mental aspect of possession, that you know of the existence of the stuff and your intention to treat it as their own. And then even when you find things, the physical possession, it got to be legal, and it got to be properly handled. And you look at the chain of custody, and also it got to be properly examined, because some of those things you might have to go and you may get forensic people to deal with them. So it's not just finding the thing. And then you got to look at, sometimes when you execute warrants, when you look at multiple occupancy, 4 or 5 persons in the building, as the case may be, you got to be careful how you give your evidence. But coming back to the point is that the police, go to the law, Criminal Offence Act, Summary Jurisdiction Offence Act, apply for warrant. And more so they're saying, what do they get? Intelligence led. It get intelligence. More so you get intelligence. That's why you could be forming up and apply for warrant. But they're using the term lightly. For us, what they're doing, they're using intelligence maybe for big up the triple jumper, who said that the triple jumper working. He's now a head of the special branch, and he getting intelligence, and he passing on intelligence to the police. Maybe part of the strategy, because they had recommended him to move to senior soup, in a bowl thing that they put up. So using the term intelligence led, they're using it very loosely. So we're saying, in summary, is that you need to apply for a warrant if you go in and search people, and don't go and say that the people give you permission to search. Because I said it over and over again, that some smart liar will make submission to suppress that evidence. The Americans like use the term that is a forbidden fruit of the poisonous tree. When you do the illegal stuff, the forbidden fruit of the poisonous tree, that you get it illegally, therefore it will be suppressed and it cannot be given in evidence, and out goes your case.
Yes, well said. Because again, we say that if you have intelligence that illegal stuff, unlawful stuff are at a particular premises, the thing to do is to go and get a warrant and make sure you cover yourself properly to go and search whatever item you want to search for. But to go and say that person allowed you to search, a man know that he get gun, illegal gun, he allowed you to search. I want to see where this is going when they get to court. I want to see where this will go when I get to. Yes, Carlton, you had enough time because they are saying this is intelligence led. So it's not a random thing where you're walking on the road and then you decide for some reason that you're pursuing someone and you run behind you find this thing. You're doing undercover work or whatever it is. You get intelligence that they get unlawful stuff at this place, and therefore you want to go and search. Get your warrant. And then the question is, who are the people who did the search? Was it the regular police? Was it people from the special branch? You got to understand, because we talk about intelligence led, maybe the special branch runs get the information and they didn't want to pass it on to the regular people, so they go and carry out the search themselves. And they know basic policing, some of them know. You got to understand all of these factors, all of these things you have to understand. But let me tell you something about actual and constructive possession before we move on. When I was at West Demerara some years ago, Ulrich was there. Ulrich might remember this incident. A man came, he was a community policing man, and he came and he reported that the policeman at Breedenoop was demanding money from him. Right? Some infraction with the minibus, the policeman demanding money. I say, all right. We marked some money, we gave it to the man to give to the police. And then we went to the junction. I remember well, Messiah and Lola Lendrix, they were on attachment to the division from the junior officers' school. We went to Villeneuve Junction. The man came out and the man signaled to us that he had passed the money to the police, and we moved in. When we moved in, we searched the policeman's person, nothing. We searched the policeman's cupboard, nothing. We have find this marked money. So, well, what happened? I had a guy who was there who used to work with me at the TSU. And I went and I said, look, this man come in and give you saw. He said, yes, he saw when the man gave him something. I said, what was he doing at the time? He said the policeman was extracting an entry from the property book. He was extracting an entry from the property book. And when I called Messiah and them to so I said, yeah, I'll check this property book. When they checked the property book, they found the marked money in the property book that he was extracting. He was charged corrupt transaction by agent of whatever it was. And obviously, they don't know about constructive possession. So he argued that they'll find nothing funny. That was his lawyer in court at, I don't call the lawyer name. He was in court at Leonora. Oscar Parvotan was the magistrate. And the lawyer argued that nothing was found on the person of his client, the policeman. And, I had to give evidence in that matter. I will never forget it. Because when I gave the evidence was that when the minibus man told me that this policeman demanded money from him, I believed. And when the policeman denied the allegation, I did not believe the policeman. The young lawyer wanted, why you did not believe the policeman? You believed the minibus man. You did not believe the policeman. Why? I said, prefer not to answer. No, you must answer. Parvatan, Oscar, God rest his dead. Say, counsel, if the commander said that you want to answer, why are you pushing? So, no, your worship, please compel him to answer. So Oscar turned to me and said, Commander, answer the question. And I said the reason why I did not believe the police is because several similar allegations were made against him. Oh God, the light jump up. No, that's prediction. My chief said, well, I warn you. The bottom line, the policeman got sentenced to jail. The policeman was sentenced to jail for that matter. So I tell you about constructive because he believed that because it wasn't found in his pocket or on his person, he hadn't possession. But the evidence was clear. He was making extract from a property book. The same property book, the money was found shortly after in this property book, the marked money, and therefore he had constructive possession. That is what the court held. So you got to understand how these things work. Now let me move on. And this is the teaching to police. You have actual possession, you have constructive possession. Go and do your research and find out. Go and do your research and find out. Many times they come and they say they find something in somebody's yard. Right in the yard. Most likely you're talking about constructive possession. You have to prove that no one else has access to that area or the yard. There's a lot of things you got to prove. So you got to understand these elements in order to make sure you can get a conviction. That is one lesson for today. Now let me move on. We talk about corruption. Corruption in the air. We said that next Olympic 2028 is where Los Angeles or somewhere there, they're going to bring corruption as a sport. and Guyana a medal for the first time. They can do like lion and donkey. They can get first, second, or third in corruption because the corruption is rampant in the country, rampant. And all of a sudden, you have local people are showing interest in corruption. Letters are being written, statements made by the vice president, number 2, about corruption. The minister of Home Affairs suddenly found out that there is corruption in the thing. And then suddenly decided that they're making allegations about corruption. They're making statements about corruption. When for the longest while, allegations were being made about corruption in government offices and government functionaries and ministers and police officers. And you know what he used to say? The mantra from the second vice president in particular, oh, where is the evidence? Bring the evidence. We haven't seen evidence. Maybe the only place in the world where an allegation is made, and the people want the people who are making the allegation to produce the evidence. As I know it, an allegation is made, credible allegation, you should investigate to find the evidence. Remember, even with the Darmlal case, the president said, oh, it's just an allegation, bring the evidence. That's what I want to say, bring the evidence. They don't want to investigate to find the evidence. Well, the Americans did the investigation. The federal agencies, they say 11 state and federal agencies in America did. And they found evidence that showed that they could, compelling evidence, it says, compelling evidence. So they sanctioned the Mohammeds, they sanctioned a prominent secretary in the ministry, May Thomas. And after that, all of a sudden now, people talking about corruption. They get workshop to tell the REOs and so on about conflict and corruption. Imagine that. Imagine that. And I saw a very interesting letter here written by a person who I believe is an apologist for the government. It was written on the 10th of August. And the headline is, corruption will likely be a major factor again in the 2025 elections. Hear what it goes on. It's not too long, so I'm going to read it. A growing and worrying concern that will impact the 2025 election is the perception that corruption pervades almost every aspect of governance. It's a perception. No, not perception, it's reality. The evidence is there. Though it is not confined to this administration, but was widespread in the preceding APNU plus AFC coalition. It follows that politicians, once in government and police, regardless of which party in office, which are expecting among, with rare exception among both, are extremely corrupt. It has been alleged elsewhere that some high functionaries, ministers, high government functionaries, and police officials who own companies that do business with government agencies taking away work from legitimate contractors who are interested in national development. Some contractors refuse to give a bribe or kickback. Others give it to get a contract. The cancellation of visas and deportation of the corrupt is a welcome step, but the net needs to widen to include other corrupt government functionaries, business forces, and police. Another added measure should be indicting the alleged corrupt with an extradition to the U.S. The impact of corruption and development and of lifting the standards of living of the poor who comprise almost 50% of the population, who can't afford 3 meals a day while a few are overeating is unsustainable. The vice president and others in authority should crack down on corruption in government and the police. It is noted that corruption or the perception played a decisive role in the 2011, 2015, and 2020 elections and will again, it seems, be a major factor in the 2025 election. That is from Vishnu Bisram. That is a letter from Vishnu Bisram. And hear what he says. Let me read this part. He said, though it is not confined to this administration, but was widespread in the preceding APNU plus AFC coalition. Comrade, let me say this. I am 69 years old. I'm ashamed for telling my age. Some going to say me look good, some going to say me look bad. Some going to say me grazing bad pasture. Me I mind. I don't mind what they say. But in all my years, especially my adult life, I've spent 37 years in the Guyana police force. I have never seen such corruption. And this is not only allegation. I have never seen such corruption in Guyana or any place else. It is blatant. It is widespread. It gone into the police force at the highest level. The man who sits there in the chair as commissioner, is alleged to be involved in covering down corruption, if he himself is not involved in corruption. The man there, Brutus, second in command, de facto, bank had to close his accounts, he and his wife. Corruption. And you want to compare what is going on now with what went on during the preceding APNU plus AFC government? No way. There's nothing compared. Even, let me be honest and fair, there's nothing that even compares to the previous PPP administration when they were there for 20 or much years. The thing wasn't so rampant and so widespread and so blatant. No way. But now corruption, everywhere you turn is corruption. Everywhere you turn, but suddenly they discover that they get corruption. Well, let me tell you, as I said, there will always be corruption. And Guyana is experiencing an unprecedented level of corruption. We talk about the U.S. sanctions. Allegation about corruption involving gun license. Allegation of money laundering by senior officers. Allegation of payment of over $30 million to a senior police officer, Caesar, to cover up a murder. Those are all allegations that are there. Allegations, or the allegation that the vice president, the same Barra Jagdeo, takes 500,000, demands 500,000 US dollars from Chinese businessmen for them to get contract. Remember the Sugate matter? Who is Sue? Oh, my tenant. All of these allegations. You name one allegation, Bisram, during the APNU plus AFC coalition that can even come close to what we are talking about. Name one. Name one. I challenge you to name one that can come close. Excuse me. Then we get, who can forget, a case where expenses, ExxonMobil, $214 million in expenses, reduced to $3. $214 million reduced to $3. That is massive corruption. Then don't forget, let me give you more. Let me give some more. You get a car from the Ministry of Agriculture, PYY 8940, Ministry of Agriculture, on the 17th of May 2023. This car was detailed. In other words, a polish and so on the car. And the cost submitted 824,000 Guyana dollars. 824,000 Guyana dollars for detailing the car inside out. The number again, PYY 8940, attached to the Ministry of Agriculture. That's the only one, because on previous programs, I mentioned other ministries. And here this one, I gave you some wrong information the other day, so let me correct it. I said that the vehicle, PMM 4755, at $200, they spent $200,000 on one tire. I did some checks. It wasn't one tire. $200,000 to replace one battery, a vehicle belonging to the Ministry of Public Works. Check the number. PMM 4755 is a vehicle belonging to the Ministry of Public Works. And I'm going to tell you all the date just now. I get the records, I get the documents. This vehicle, let me pull it up here. This vehicle, on the 23rd of May 2023, right? 23rd of May 2023, right? They had a battery, etc. Purchase of battery, $200,000. And that is Luxury Auto and Custom Detailing. That's the name of the company. Luxury Auto and Custom Detailing, a battery purchase, well, let's say battery, etc. The fact that you get etc., we as police know that there's where the cap there. You then detail, then outline what are the items, and any audit, any proper auditor will want to know what is the etc. $200,000 for battery for this vehicle. And Mr. Ram, you writing about corruption during the APNU plus coalition administration. I say again that the level of corruption now is unprecedented, even to when the PPP had been in office previously. Even when PPP been in office previously, I must be fair, they never had so much corruption. At least we didn't know. But now with this oil money, all them minister and their friends and their family get business, getting contract. This company that I call here now, Luxury Auto Custom and Detailing, it is said to be owned by the brother-in-law of a minister. who was in the news recently. A minister who was in the news recently, they're saying that his brother-in-law owns that company. And it's millions and millions of dollars to wash vehicle, to bottom wash, to engine wash. Ordinary detailing of the interior of a vehicle is 100 and something $1,000. And not once a year, Every month and every other month, they are they detailing external detail one. They have one of them from the same ministry. Can't remember the vehicle number now. One day, they change the front windscreen for how much? $100,000. The next day, the back windscreen change for how much? $100,000. Couple days after, the vehicle have to go for detail and tire cleaning or what they call it. I think couple $100,000 again. That is what is going on. And they're talking about corruption. They want to tell you. Well, of course, now they suddenly realize that they have corruption. As I say in the past, Jack Dio and all them tell you must bring the evidence. You must bring the evidence. These people are so corrupt. They are inherently corrupt. When you have a senior police officer whom the Chief Justice, talking about Calvin Brutus, found to be self-serving. She said so on the 28th of June, 2021. I got all my dates and so on in line, I got everything lined up. He is self-serving. And what they did, they promoted him to assistant commissioner. He's one of the president men. The president said so. You aren't promoting. When I was the chairman of the police service commission, you're not promoting my people, right? And then the trouble started with me from then. My people. So his people now, the man established a company in June. His wife also set up a company in June. And these companies are supplying items to all the police locations. The breakdown mess, the police consumers, the TSU mess, you talk about the what they call it now, the academy mess, supplying hundreds of millions of dollars in items. Hundreds, E-company, he's the man at admin. E-company supplying. So he making the request, he approving the request, and he drawing down on that. Are you telling me there's not corruption? That is not corruption. And I say again that amount, that magnitude of corruption could not have involved him alone. Others had to be complicit, like the finance officer, the people at the Ministry of Home Affairs, perhaps even those at the Ministry of Finance. I spoke about the man making, approving advances for his secretary, Marcia Lewis, to go to the interior to conduct investigation, $200,000. His driver, George, going to Port Kaituma on Christmas Eve Day 2021, I think it was, or 2020, to conduct investigation. Christmas Eve Day, $200,000 cash advance. And then seeing this, the Auditor General still sleeping. So, and all of these things that we're talking about here is since the government came into power in 2020, Because Brutus, when the elections were held in 2020, March, Brutus was the commander of Borbies. And then when the government changed, they brought him down to headquarters to be admin. First time a senior superintendent in charge of admin. When they had more senior and qualified people there, they put him there. But when you put cat to watch milk, what you expect? They put the cat to watch the milk, and the cat decide to drink out the milk. That is what we have. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to talk about this corruption and all this thing, what they're talking about. CC, what are your views on all that I've said there, man?
Well, I hold no view for APNU, neither hold no thing for this present government. But the corruption now is so widespread that I have to talk about it. And we gotta talk the magnitude of corruption. Going back to them vehicles, vehicles for the Ministry of Agriculture. I wonder, perhaps, the vehicle that you mentioned, maybe it have to go into Blackbush area, to Joanno and Yakasari and Lesbiolan and maybe Kuru, so again, it got to be clean regularly, that they go in there, them places, and the windscreen break up, the front windscreen and the back screen. That the corruption now is on an unbelievable magnitude. It's there. It's there. There's no perception. Is reality. What happening in the police force? And then saying checks and balances, what going on? The police, the Ministry of Home Affairs, the Ministry of Finance, nobody don't check them thing when they come. No red flags don't be showing up. People crossing the red lines and nothing is being done. Just things just being allowed to think. The corruption is more. I say if you put cat to watch milk, I say if you put cat to watch milk, you don't get catastrophe. Things is going to go wrong. Things going to go wrong, and it's high time. And the second vice president asked him, "Well, bring the evidence, bring the evidence." Well, the evidence coming, and they're admitting now that there's corruption, but it is so widespread. It is shattering. It is unbelievable, unbelievable. And a place like the police force, with that, we're important supposed to have public confidence in the police force. They can't get public confidence in the police force when the man in charge. And somebody just sent me a note saying that um a certain man close to Brutus, that Suku visited his home and seized 4 vehicles, 2 in his name and 2 in his mother's name. I'm still to verify that. But with so many allegations, so many things happening. Corruption is too widespread, and it's high time that they do a proper investigation. A proper investigation. Then the entire police force. We hearing about $1.5 million for firearm, where scores of firearms disappear. Nothing. We're hearing fraud at the home, fraud at the quartermaster store, fraud at the police finance office. It's mind-boggling, mind-boggling, and and very little is being done. All the action, and then the one with the second vice president, $500,000 they say. And then when I asked you, a man who could rattle out, who could preach, who could talk, from top, just rattle out things. And when you hear about Sue, it's Kenny says, his body language, Sue, who Sue, And then his father was my friend and some kind of nonsense there. So I'm saying, let the investigation from overseas persons comments, and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, and the thing about it, the worrying thing is that the same man who is now, they said, laundering money and all this thing, they find 100, well, that is what was said, over $100 million in office in black bag, and he said there's hard on cash and all that. Long before now, allegations were leveled, allegation of corruption. I remember seeing letters from a letter at least, from the ranks in C Division at Cove and John there when he was the commander. They wrote to President Granger and they copied it to the Police Service Commission and the Auditor General, alleging, and they had supporting documents, alleging that the man interfering with the extra duty money. That was there. What happened? No proper investigation. So the man emboldened. When he left East Coast, I think he went to Borbies. Allegation again that accounts are being submitted, questionable accounts for cleaning lockups. One lockup clean, number one lockup, 100 and something thousand with money. Couple days after, a week after, cleaning next lockup, how much? $100,000. Feeding, meeting. We get meeting, so we have to provide snacks and this thing, big money, so frequently. And the things were suspicious. They were suspicious, and nothing was done. So you say, again, we say you put cat for watch milk, what you expect? So the man believed that the untouchable. The man decided that, look, and I'm using man here a little loosely, yeah, forgive me. I'm using, or I should say the person decided that, hey, I can make this thing, I can institutionalize this corruption. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to open a company. One in my name, Kaitos or Kaitos, what his name, and one in my wife's name. And we are going to supply all the items. So all the people who supply items, perhaps except Chandel, because Chandel still supply $66 million in fish to the breakdown mess, the police mess, and the TSU mess, the training school mess, and the police mess. $66 million in fish. Right? So the man established a company, institutionalizing the corruption. So his wife and he and his wife company are now supplying and giving his position and admin. He's the man who approving all of these payments and everything. That is corruption. That is corruption. And I say again, the fact that when this $16.5 million was deposited, because it was deposited and a receipt issued, then the money was returned to Brutus. And then when the extended squatter learned of that, he sent for the ranks, he berated them, and he had them transferred. So he is complicit. He was covering up this matter. And the fact that he went to the public, the nation, and said, no money was lodged, that no investigation is going on. Let me play this tape for y'all again, man. You forgive me, I'm going to play the part where he says so. I'm going to play the part because next thing you know, they're going to say, you're lying on them. Let me play the part. Y'all allow me.
Guyana's acting commissioner of police Clifton Hicken today laid to rest claims that his deputy commissioner of police acting Calvin Brutus is on the investigation by the Special Organized Crime Unit. Hicken spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the first legal conference on criminal justice reform at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown.
It's about Mr. Brutus and the multi-million dollar deposits. Is it true or not?
No, it's not true. And I made a release already through our system.
You didn't see that?
Yeah, I made a release. It's in the system. There's no investigation going on whatsoever.
And no deposits?
Nothing whatsoever. You know.
Okay, thank you.
Brutus, who
no investigation, no deposit. That is what this extended squatter said, and he still sits there. And the president and all of them condoning that behavior. The man lied. And in lying, he is complicit because he's covering up a crime or an alleged crime. And he therefore is complicit. And what have they done? They haven't done nothing. They haven't done nothing. But again, I say the man, he can toilet plane, he can go to see his liar. He's known to lie. He lied in the Linden Commission of Inquiry. He was a commander at Linden when those 3 men were shot and killed back in July some years ago. And when he was before the Commission of Inquiry, on the oath, he claimed that he never spoke to the Minister of Home Affairs, Clement Roy, during a particular period of time. And then evidence was obtained from the telephone company to show that there was a conversation during the same period of time. And when Roy came afterward, and was confronted with that, Roy admitted that they did speak. So the man lied on the oath, and nothing was done. He should have been charged with perjury. Nothing was done. And therefore, again, here, this is clear evidence. It's not me saying so. It's he lying. He said no investigation. No money was lodged. And the evidence is there that the money was lodged, and he must have seen the evidence. And if he did not see it, there is incompetence. He had not to be in that position. No money was lodged. No investigation is going on. That is what that lying man said. And he still sits there. Still sits there. So we're going to continue to expose these things because we are speaking out against corruption and incompetence. That is what we are doing, and that is what we will continue to do. And I'm here, Mr. Kame. You want to say anything else on that issue before I move on?
No, let's move on to another more juicy one.
All right, the juicy one that we're moving on to is this current imbroglio with Burke and the government and all of them. Rickford Burke, the man of the moment. Let me say this. When I grew up, I wanted to be like Rickford Burke because according to the vice president, Rickford Burke lives in a basement. But for a man who lives in a basement, and this man is living rent-free in the vice president and the attorney general's head, I want to be somebody like that, man. For a man who lives in a basement, and according to them, this man is nobody. But I can't help talking about him. Nobody, this man is nobody. The boy is a man of no consequence, Rickford Burke. But yet still, let's see. The latest thing with Rickford Burke, I can read, oh Lord, this was sweet. You can carry it to the end of the program. Guyana government says it has written to the U.S. State Department, FBI, refuting claims by Burke. This is yesterday, Stabrook News. First of all, let me say to you that when Burke said that he made a report to the U.S. government about the way the government treated him and all the persecution and all the lies they put in wanted bulletin and so on, Jack said that Burke lying. No report then made. He never made any report. That's what Jack Dio said. Them things are on record, Jack Dio says so. Now all of a sudden, they are admitting that yes, Burke made a report and the U.S. authorities wrote to them and they responded. But before I read the letter, let me tell you all this. Before I read the release, I am representing Burke. I'm not in the air for Burke. Burke has been doing an excellent job representing himself. A magnificent job representing himself. I love his spirit. He doesn't allowing them to get away with the nonsense. Whether it's Nandalal, Pinocchio, or whether it's Jagdio, he's not allowing them to get away with it. But yesterday, he had a live, which should have started at 2, it started shortly after. And he outlined a lot of things. The man play the police interview with this man who's supposed to be the main witness in this allegation of extortion. Burke played the entire police interview. Y'all go back on social media and look at it. I'm going to talk about that a little more. And during the course of that presentation yesterday, he called me name. He said that the U.S. authorities, the FBI, are also investigating complaint made by Paul Slow. That is me. That is me, Paul Slow. Well, let me tell you all this. I'm saying this for the first time, right? I had a sit-down with the FBI some time ago, and I provided the FBI with a detailed statement. Let me repeat that. So they know now they're going to jump around. They're going to jump around. I had an interaction with the FBI, and I provided the FBI with a detailed statement of all that transpired with me and the government and the president and all of them. I started out very chronological. I think it was 7 to 8 pages. I left no stone unturned. I highlighted everything. Everything I highlighted. Everything. So yes, I did meet with the FBI, and I did provide the FBI with a detailed statement of all that happened. From the time on the 16th of September 2020, the meeting with me and the president, the interaction with me and the president on the 23rd of December 2020, all that happened with Ben sending note to our people, charge people, right? The fact that this Trump up charge, the Lion Mark Phillips, all of them things I outlined in writing to the FBI, outlined in writing to the FBI. So yes, I did provide the FBI with a statement. So I guess they're going to come after me now. They're going to come after me now. But I'm ready for the fight, you know. I am ready to the fight, because the truth shall set you free. And what I speak is the truth. You know, one of the things I failed to mention in previous programs is that all of them are jumping around. They should get the FBI or some agency to conduct a polygraph test, like detector test, to test the veracity of the statements I am making and what they're making. I am going to submit myself to that anytime, any day, any hour, anytime, to a polygraph, a lie detector test, because I am speaking the truth, nothing but the truth, the old truth, and nothing but the truth. So let me tell you all that, them. Let me tell you that. Even with the video, yes, Fridella, I invited them. I didn't give them the copy, but I told them it's there on YouTube. They can see what Ramana and all of those other policemen. I spoke about that at a function in Brooklyn, where the Attorney General for the U.S. and some other law people were there, and they couldn't believe. They tell me, no, they can't believe that I am charged for a matter. And when I turned up in court to attend the same matter, the police who charged me are there for arrest me for the same matter. They say it's unbelievable. I say it's unbelievable but true. So yes, I did give them a statement, and Nandalal and them can ask to see the statement and decide how they're gonna go from there. Well, let me read the thing yesterday. The government of Guyana yesterday said that it was informed that Rickford Burke, a Guyanese residing in Brooklyn, New York, lodged a formal complaint with the department within the Federal Bureau of Investigation, alleging that the government of Guyana is prosecuting him, among other things. And it said it also been written to the United States Department and the FBI, refuting claims against it. That's what the government said. They're refuting claim. They wrote refuting claim. All the time, remember, Jack Dior is saying that Brock lie, no report and no investigation is going on. But all of a sudden now, they decided, so they're going to write to the U.S. government to refute the claims made by government, but made by Burke. Let me go on. In a statement, the government said it is pleased that Burke has engaged the law enforcement agencies in the United States on this matter, and the same has received the attention of the law enforcement agencies in Guyana, and the matter is currently before the courts here. In consequence, by letter dated 27th of July 2024. The statement said that the government of Guyana responded to this report, refuting the allegations of Burke as absolutely false and wholly unfounded, and considers them to constitute a malicious attack on the integrity, reputation, good name, and international standing of the government of Guyana. We can dissect that a little later. The letter was addressed to the desk office for Guyana, U.S. Department of State, and copied to the FBI, a number of functionaries within the U.S. Department of State, the Department of Justice, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and the United States Ambassador to Guyana. So this letter that they wrote, they copied to all of these people. In the aforementioned letter, the government of Guyana apprised the U.S. officials of the following allegations against Burke. They say, 1, using his Facebook page, Burke has been inter alia labeling, maligning, and attacking the reputation, goodwill, and good name of a number of business entities in Guyana, under the pretext that he is protecting consumers and customers of these business entities for alleged abuse, exploitation, and sharp practices by these business entities. 2, as a result of investigations and after a thorough investigation by members of the Guyana Police Force and based on legal advice received from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, an independent constitutional office, Burke and other persons were charged with 2 counts of the following extortion offenses. And I name them. I'm John Pastor. These charges, the government of Guyana noted, are pending before a magistrate in the district in which the offenses were allegedly committed. The magistrate, listen to this carefully, the magistrate, upon examination of the charges, issued a summons to be served upon Burke by the Guyana Police Force, authorized by the relevant criminal statutes to do so that Burke is notified of the date and time of the hearing of the said charge and to permit him the opportunity to answer to the charges. In order to serve the said summons on Burke, a duly authorized officer of the Guyana Police Force traveled to New York and retained the services of a licensed legal process server in New York, duly authorized to serve such documents to effect service on the documents on Burke. The documents on Burke was done. Now we going on. Burke accepted service of the document from the said licensed process server on the stairs of his premises in Brooklyn, New York, and this entire process was video recorded by the police officer from the Guyana Police Force who was standing over 100 feet away across the street from Burke's premises where the service was effected. The said legal proceedings are still pending before the courts of Guyana. From the above narrative, the government statement said that it is clear that the government played no part whatsoever in the aforementioned case. Further, the Guyana Police Force, the principal law enforcement agency of the state, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and the Judiciary, all constitutionally independent agencies, quote, have simply discharged their constitutional and legal duties which devolve upon them by the laws and constitution of Guyana, end of quote. The thing's sweet. I got a little bit more to read. The statement added that the government has invited the FBI to thoroughly investigate the complaint made by Mr. Burke, and if it is found that it is baseless, quote, we hereby request that the Federal Bureau of Investigation take the appropriate action against Mr. Burke, end of quote. The statement said that the government views this matter very seriously and is already in consultation with lawyers in the United States of America seeking the appropriate legal advice with a view to pursuing legal redress against Burke. It must be emphasized that the statement said that while Burke is lodging baseless complaints against the government of Guyana with the law enforcement agencies in the U.S., at the same time through lawyers, he has filed a civil proceedings in the court of Guyana designed to prevent the hearing and determination of the criminal charge instituted against him. Quote, one would have expected him to willingly appear before the criminal court in order to vindicate his innocence rather than attempt to avoid these proceedings, end of quote. Last paragraph. Further, the government of Guyana has lodged comprehensive report against Burke with the U.S. Department of Justice, the U.S. State Department, the FBI and other agents within the US regarding the utterances and publications on social media, malicious and defamatory attack on the character and reputation of hundreds of outstanding INEs. These authorities, it said, have been invited to explore all mutual legal facilities available in ensuring that these allegations are fully investigated and the relevant criminal proceedings instituted in both jurisdictions in order to ensure that justice is done in accordance with the law. Now, a lot to unpack. But before I go further, let me give Mr. Conway some of the baton. As I told you, this is going to take the remainder of the morning. We have about half an hour to go. Let me give CC some of the baton. CC, let me hear you. I know you have a lot to say on this.
Yeah, imagine a man living in a basement, a known entity according to what they say, and he could have gotten a copy of a police interview, an interview conducted by, I think, men from CID headquarters, and he got a full thing, and he didn't doctor the tape. And we're talking about confidentiality. How can you trust a police force like that, where very important matters under investigation, and the tape gone till to America, it gone to Burke, and Burke was able to play it. And the same man who they say living in a basement. And they make so much that that they take a man from a, I think it's Sarabu, he name ASP Sarabu. I call it the marathon runner. Where we ran to Brooklyn. And he didn't take no water break, once, no one up non-stop. And there was he causing a document, a very illegal document, to be served on Burke. Imagine that. Of all places, the United States of America, offenses allegedly took place in Guyana. Burke say he ain't been to Guyana for 25 years. He in trouble to Guyana. And lo and behold, he committed an offense in Guyana. And he committed the offense at the office of the Prime Minister in Camp Street. An offense in Prime Minister and officer in Camp Street, he ain't been there. And what I do too with the summons, the offense allegedly took place in Georgetown Magistrate District, and they trained it in East Demerara Magistrate District. They're saying Hakim Jeffrey is a nobody, but yet still they're writing to he. And I listened to the Attorney General, and he attempting to use inadmissible hearsay to tie down Brown. The Attorney General, a man who is the supreme legal influence of the government and the PPP, using hearsay evidence to implicate Burke. I hold no brief of work. Burke could defend himself. And even in the interview and all, the guy saying, hey, I don't know Burke. I never see. I never talk to him. And I listen to the AG, listen to the AG. He talking about cybercrime. He talking about cybercrime, and then he talking that they're not prosecuting critics, but for criminal offense, there's a Burke is alleged to have committed. And the guy saying the main witness what they holding on, saying, hey, I didn't talk to Burke. I never see me and know he. And those flimsy, inadmissible hearsay they're using to tie down Burke. Sarabu, see any there? And when as I said before, that he should have gone to the Olympics. He's a marathon runner. He don't win a gold medal. And then if they didn't want it, they could rotate. You know, they rotate him because the rotation is part of the part of our administration. That you rotate your senior people. They could have rotated he's a sprinter because after the event with breakneck speed, with record breaking time, he back together and so he could have been a sprinter. He could have win the 100 meters for us at the last Olympics. They're saying, bring the evidence. Burke can report nothing to the FBI. Bring the evidence coming. But Burke said, let them tell the nation what is the evidence the FBI get against them. Let them tell us what is the evidence. And then they said also here was using that they invited the FBI to investigate. How they could invite the FBI? The FBI contacted them and said, this is what we get against you. This is what we get. This is what we investigating. So how could they invite them to investigate? If they don't start the one investigation, and it's about 2 years now, it's long no Borg talking about it. Years no Borg talking about it. And they saying they invited the FBI. And why they invite the FBI in relation to the Sue case? Why? You know, they're so damn corrupt and they're lying so much. You know that you can't even believe them. Even if they might tell you a little bit of truth, you got to take it with a whole cup of salt. So the whole thing is that we can't trust them. We can't trust them. But I'm happy that the FBI has made it known that they get complaints by Burke and they have started an investigation, although they started maybe over 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, again, I got to correct you that when you say they take some salt, we ain't got no problem there. Brutus supplied 100 and something bags of salt to the police mess. So either one salt, there's not going to be any short supply. They get enough salt at the police mess that Brutus supplied. I think it's 100 and something bags. They say, and each bag weighs 100 and something kilogram or something like 100 and pounds. And they say, that is what is going on. Now, let me dissect this thing further. Because I see one of the bright students here talking about throwing the man under the bus. And that is what I got to say. Because one of the things they said here, as a result of investigations and after thorough investigation by the members of the Guyana Police Force, and based upon legal advice received from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, an independent constitutional office, Burke and other persons were charged. Well, let me tell you all something about the Director of Public Prosecutions. Let me remind you all what Bernard DeSantis, the first Attorney General on the PPPC, when he came in 1992. Hear what he said. Hear what he said. He said, quote, one of the matters which has been suspected by members of the criminal bar for some time is that the acting director of public prosecutions, whose husband is a Muslim cleric, cannot divorce our religion from our professional duties. That is what he says some more things. The inner bar, members of the criminal bar, let me tell you how is the criminal bar. They say some people, when they admitted to practice law, they say they admitted to the bar. The bar say some people are admitted to the bar while others are admitted for the bar. They might know enough language, so they know what they're saying. Some say they are admitted to the bar while others are admitted for the bar. But the DeSantis is saying it is suspected by members of the criminal bar, there's the lawyers who practice in criminal law, for some time that the acting director of public prosecutions, the same one that they get now, whose husband is a Muslim cleric, cannot divorce our religion from our professional duties. And then what the government said, when they write it, the director of public prosecutions, an independent constitutional office, Burke and other persons were charged with 2 counts of extortion. Then they go on to say, these charges noted are pending. Then they say, nonsense. The magistrate, upon examination of the charges, issued a summons to be served upon Burke by the Guyana Police Force, authorized by the relevant criminal statutes to do so. Burke is so that Burke is notified of the date and time of the airing of the said charge and permit him the opportunity to answer to the charge. Which statute he talking about authorize the magistrate to issue a warrant or a summons for the police to travel from Guyana to New York to serve the summons? Which statute, Attorney General, tell us? That is in one of them books you get. I have never seen that or read about that. Because what I read is that the summons, a magistrate has jurisdiction within Guyana, not to extraterritorial jurisdiction. But you say that's what you say. So you're reading some different books. And then hear what it says. Oh my, they're throwing the police officer now under the bus, as one body suggested. In order to serve the said summons on Mr. Burke, a duly authorized officer of the Guyana Police Force traveled to New York, and this duly authorized officer retained the services of a licensed legal process officer in New York, duly authorized to serve such a document, to effect service of the document on Burke. So what they're saying, that the police officer traveled to New York, and the police officer engaged or he retained the services of this licensed process server. They're showing this man on the bus. I want to know what visa this man traveled on to say he coming to the US. Was it a work visa? They're throwing him under the bus because they're telling the US authorities officially now that this police officer in Guyana used whatever visa he has, which I suspect is an ordinary visitor's visa, to travel to New York and to retain the services of a licensed process server. So in other words, he's working. Then they said Burke accepted the summons service of the document from the said licensed process server on the stairs of his premises in Brooklyn, New York. And the entire process was video recorded by the police officer. Here it is, they're telling you that the police officer walking again in New York. So he recorded this entire process. The police officer from Guyana came to New York and recorded this process. Then they said from the above narrative, the government statement, it is clear that the government played no part whatsoever in the aforementioned case. The government influenced, the government directed these charges. The government directed for Burke to be charged. They want to portray this narrative that Burke charged and he's a criminal, because even before Burke was charged, Bharat Jagdeo, the vice president, on his weekly ramblings, he said, Burke is a criminal. He's a criminal. And I have said before that if Burke, by Jagdeo's measurement, if Burke is a criminal, Jagdeo too is a criminal. Because at the time Burke had making allegations against Burke and call him a criminal. And then Jagdeo, there's allegations still pending against Jagdeo that he collected $500,000 US dollars to give contracts to Chinese businessmen through Sue. So long ago they've been behind Burke. The issue wanted bulletin. They're using the incompetent and corrupt Guyana police force, not the old force, them senior ones. They're using them to pursue this vendetta against Burke. They want to silence Burke. They want to silence me too. Because one of the things also I told the FBI is the same thing where they met at a bar on the East Coast, and I name the attorney from the law office in Crow Street somewhere there. I tell them, I get the name and everything, and I gave all them information to them. Right? I did not hold back. I will not hold back. So they throw the man under the bus, and then here we're saying, further, the Guyana Police Force, the principal law enforcement agency of the state, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and the Judiciary, all constitutionally independent agencies, have simply discharged their constitutional legal duties which devolve upon them by the laws and the Constitution. They suddenly discover that the judiciary is independent. They were saying that on the judiciary, the same judiciary that they're cussing out only recently, in the case that Justice Kisoon handed down, abused out Jagdeo. In the other case here with Justice Prasad, again, abused out. But they suddenly discover that these same judiciary people that are abusing out are independent, and what I said, are principal line, director, constitutionally independent agencies. They are constitutional. You see how these people shooting themselves in the foot? They are so backward. And when you hear this letter, you see, this letter is the government, and some of the wording and so on, I suspect is Pinocchio, that big nose chap, write some of this thing, right? But they're saying, when Justice Kisun handed down the decision in the, what they call the oil spill thing, where he said got a large money, they challenged it, a decision in favor of the Guyana people, the Guyana government challenged it. The decision was in favor of Guyanese, and the Guyana government challenged it. And then Justice Dino Prasad, recently a decision, the Attorney General saying that he should, implying that he should be brought up before the Judicial Service Commission for Discipline. Independent agencies, they now discover that. Independent agencies, when the appeal court, I think it was, ruled in a matter some years ago, Dharam Lal, who was then a minister, called for the judges to be defrocked. I know if you want them defrocked for engage in the usual illegal activities. I don't know if it's that you wanted them defrocked for, right? But yeah, so all of a sudden they are independent constitutional agencies who have simply discharged their duties. And then the statement that the government invited the FBI to thoroughly investigate the complaints made by Mr. Burke, and if found that is baseless, we hereby request that the FBI take the appropriate action against Mr. Burke. You don't have to request for the FBI to do anything. The FBI is a professional body, and if they do an investigation and find that anyone is at fault, they will take the correct action. If you have to invite them to do that. Yeah, since you are in the mood or in the mode to invite, why did you not invite them to investigate the allegation that Bharat Jagdeo taken $500 million from Chinese businessmen? Why did you not do that? Why did you not invite them to investigate this ongoing corruption in the hierarchy of the Guyana police force? What you say SOCU can do. And we all know that SOCU, an agency or a department of the force, cannot do such an investigation. As you are inviting government, invite them to do that too, man. Invite them to do that. And then here what I said, one would have expected him to willingly appear before the criminal court in order to vindicate his innocence rather than attempt to avoid these proceedings. One would expect that Bharat Jagdeo will invite the FBI, the Scotland Yard, or the Mounties from the Canada to come to investigate, to vindicate him too. Right? To vindicate his innocence. So don't point to one area. If you say one would have expected Burke to willingly appear before the criminal court in order to vindicate his innocence rather than attempt to avoid these proceedings, the same thing applies to Jagdeo. If Jagdeo is innocent, as he says he is, bring in a credible, independent agency to investigate the Sugate allegation. If you want a proper investigation into the corruption which is alleged that Brutus and others laundering money through the police credit union, bring in credible people to investigate as well. Right? So don't give us the half-pick thing. That's how we can do the statement analysis. And then it goes on to say, further, the government of Guyana has lodged a comprehensive report against Burke with the U.S. Department of Justice, the U.S. State Department, blah, 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 blah. These authorities are said to have invited to explore mutual legal facilities, and they go on. That is what they're saying. They make a report. What they're doing for the longest while, they're attempting to silence Burke and other people who are critical, justifiably critical of the government. You talk about corruption, they talk about hundreds of businessmen. You're dealing with the FBI, you're dealing with SOCU. And if you're saying that this man has been targeting hundreds of businessmen, maligning them and all, they're going to ask you, who are the businessmen? Who are these people? You got to name them. You can't come with this blanket nonsense. This is not SOCU. If you say that he targeting, and the statement says he's maligning lots of businessmen and all of that, tell the people who these people are. Name them. Name the businessmen. Don't just give a blank statement. As I say, the FBI is the FBI. They're going to go through this thing that these people write, and I guess somebody's going to laugh at it. I don't think they're at liberty to throw it in the waste paper market, but they're going to laugh to see this is coming from a government. This is coming from a government. And there's more to it. There is more to it. Let me say this. Darwin Best, who is one of the persons charged in this matter, gave a statement where he's alleging prosecutorial misconduct on the part of Mandel Moore, the police prosecutor. The letter is there somewhere. Because he's saying that, and I hear this important aspect. This matter came up, according to what Best says and what is in the media, on the 20th of July this year. The trial started, I think it's at Vigilance or somewhere on the East Coast, on the 20th of July this year. The police never said anything. No release was given about this thing. The letter, according to what we're saying, as a letter dated the 27th of July, the statement said the government of Guyana responded. 27th of July. So once they get this letter now, then they remember that they've been to court, and then they said, let me read this thing here. One of the things they said, they claimed that the police claimed that the main witness ties Rickford Burke to criminal conspiracy and extortion. I got to ask you right now. Newsroom, of course, said the main witness, and they said the police gave a release to say the main witness. And the main witness is a man named Alex Wayne. And let me tell you the story with that, because it is said that Alex Wayne was also implicated in this matter. But Alex Wayne was granted immunity from prosecution. And I'm not sure if the DPP granted it or if the government. But this is a man who's supposed to be a co-conspirator or a co-accused, right? But they grant him immunity so he can go and he can give evidence against the others. You see how the thing working? And hear this. If you look at the tape yesterday, as Mr. Conway said, Alex Wayne, in the interview with the police in connection with the same extortion allegation, said that he never spoke to he never spoke to Burke. He don't know Burke. He has never met Burke. He has never had any message. In other words, he know the man. He know the man. But they're claiming that this man was involved in conspiracy with the same man that he know. So I made a note to say perhaps this conspiracy was something telepathic communication. But that is a style, because when they wanted to get rid of me and Conway and from the Police Service Commission, they charged us with conspiracy to commit fraud, where we were tasked with assisting in revising the police standing order, and over a period of time, 5 of us received $10,056,000. And then Nandalal went for the program. He said, you can't, we are members of the commission, and it is improper, it is unethical. He know about ethics. Nandalal, who they are, that Steve La books, who the CCJ said brought that body into disrepute. That same Nandalal say it was unethical and all of that. And we were charged, right? Matter dismissed on the 27th of December, 2023. I understand the DPP had given notice to appeal. And here, the magistrate, the presiding magistrate, said there was not an iota of evidence in the matter, not an iota. So the question is asked, based on what did the DPP recommend charges? And one of the lawyers who represented some of us, or one or more of us, Mr. Dexter Todd, said openly, it's on tape, that he cannot understand how anyone with legal training would have gone through that file and recommended charge when there was absolutely no evidence. So it's the same thing. They just want to stain people. They want to malign you. So they say you been before the court. Oh, he is charged and before the court. So when this man would say a Wayne witness who said to the police on tape that he does not know Burke, he has never spoken to Burke. That is what the man said. So how come the DPP, having seen, I expect that she would have seen that, still say that Burke is involved in this alleged conspiracy? How come? The main witness, and then the West accused Mandel Moore of failing to reveal exculpatory evidence. I mean, the DPP see this too. This man who is charged, Best, said in a letter that there's a lot of evidence there to exculpate, to vindicate, to free the people. In other words, to say there's no case, exculpatory evidence. And apparently those things were suppressed. And that should be sufficient to dismiss the case. That should be sufficient for the case to be dismissed. Because the prosecutor has a legal responsibility to reveal all evidence. During disclosure, you got to reveal all evidence. That is it. Those that are in favor, the evidence that is in favor, all the statement, and those that are not in favor. That is what disclosure is. But apparently the police only suddenly decide they're going to reveal some of these evidence that seem to suggest that these people are implicated. But again, the main witness say you don't know the man. So you're going to charge for conspiracy. But there's been a trend. When these politically motivated charges or cases got to the DPP position is to approve the charge, and then you got the court. She ain't really questioning nothing. She ain't really examining to see if there's evidence to sustain a prosecution. No. All they are, let it go before the court. And it is unfair. That is prosecutorial misbehavior as well. She should be brought before the Judicial Service Commission. She should be disciplined before the Judicial Service Commission. This and other matters. Several matters where the judges in the High Court of Guyana has publicly stated that there's not an iota of evidence to the matter. People charged with serious offenses, languishing in jail for 4 or 5 years, and when it finally gets to court, the judges say no evidence. And in one or more of the cases, the prosecutors from the DPP's chamber agree that there was no evidence, and the DPP still sits there. They still have the DPP sitting there. I remember what Bernard DeSantis said, she cannot separate. That's what the lawyers at that time on the criminal bar, those liars in the criminal said, it is clear that the DPP cannot separate our religious functions from our professional functions. That is what they said. Not me. That is what Bernard DeSantis wrote. And it's in the book about NBS. I was inviting you. I told you should get that book and read it. It's on Amazon. I don't know if it has gone to Guyana yet, but I know it's on Amazon. Get it. Read it. You will see some of the revelations in that book. And Nandalal know these things about that book, the allegations, because he was a defense counsel in that case. He was one of the defense counsels in this same New Building Society case, and therefore he had to know. But that is what is going on. So they say, again, as I said, no call, no message, no nothing at all. But then the man is charged, and then the police, as I said, the police also made a statement on the 9th of August, they issued a statement on or around the 9th of August, talking about this trial that took place on the 20th of July. Clearly, once they get the thing from the US about this investigation, they were then instructed to put out a release about this trial, which took place on the 20th. It started, or evidence was given on the 20th of August, and they waited until the 9th or 8th or 9th of, it started July, I said August, 20th of July. And they waited until around the 8th or 9th of August to release a statement to say, main witness ties Rickford Burke to criminal conspiracy to extortion. That is what the police say. And how can you have confidence in the Guyana police force when they're writing this set of nonsense? Right? It shows clearly they're getting instructions, political instructions, is a force that is directed, politically directed. I say that without any fear of contradiction. Nothing like this they're going to release unless they're instructed to do so. That is what is going on. Because the extended squatter sits there and Ian know his ears from his ass. He just carrying through the movement. He is just carrying through the movement. That is what is going on. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to close, and then we're gonna. Time really flies. CC, I know you want to say something more on this, but take it. Say as much as you want, and then let me hear your closing remarks.
All right, I won't bat like a West Indian tail ender. But I read the reports from the government there, and they talk about the DPP as an independent constitutional office. What do we really they get it from? The DPP is politically controlled. You mentioned what Bernard DeSantis wrote. And I always remember Henry Green case when the DPP advised the police to charge Henry Green for rape, and he got an early wink, and he rushed to the high court, and there was Ian Chang. Ian Chang tell the DPP, come and convince this court that why you decide or why you advise the police to charge Henry Green. I remember that. And I remember the TN Chang say, you are the Dangbody, you are the supreme authority here. And when matters come to you, if there's no case, done it there. Done the dance there. And you're not to send anything for the magistrate to decide or for the judge and jury to decide. It is you, the onus is on you. If there are things to be clear up, send for clear up. But if there's no evidence, don't send it for judge and jury to decide. And don't send it for magistrate to decide. Too much of political decisions being made at the office of the DPP. And let me go back close off with Nandalal, where he's saying that Boer could sit down in his basement there and violate the laws of the world. These are the laws of the world in his program. He's using and used violate the laws of the law and violate the laws of Guyana. And then he mentioned about statute, give them the power to send Sarabu to Brooklyn to serve document on Bork. I wonder which law book he read. I'm glad if he could tell us the law book so that I for one, could go to the Attorney General chambers or go to the Parliament building and buy the law books. Because when I want me law books, I buy them. I don't otherwise obtain them. I repeat it myself. When I want my law books, I just go and buy them, whether the Attorney General office or the Parliament building. So I'd be grateful if you could say which law book you read that given the statute giving Sarbu the authority to go on a marathon to Brooklyn and unlawfully serve or cause board to be served with document. And I'll close off my names there.
Yeah. Well, somebody made an important observation in that Burke, Nandala saying with Burke that he should go to court to have his name claimed, to willingly appear before a criminal court in order to vindicate his innocence. Why he did not have the matter against him continue to vindicate his innocence? Why did the president, who faced 19 fraud charges, did not go through the process to vindicate his innocence? Why did Ashish Singh did not adopt the same thing? Why did Brassington? So you see how they're thinking? And then when you talk about some statute that gives the power, right away when the line, because in the same statement he gave, he said, he talked about the statutes, the criminal statutes, which talks about the conspiracy contrary to Section 33 of the Criminal Offences Act, Chapter 81, committed on Arfaz Mohammed, which occurred between, he talked about a particular statute. He mentioned the statute, Section 33 of the Criminal Offences Act. But when it comes to the statute that he says that give the police officer the powers to come to the New York to serve, he hadn't mentioned the statute. Y'all got to pick up on these things, I told you, we just statement analysis. We were trained to do that. He hadn't mentioned the statute. He gave a broad brush thing. He hadn't mentioned the statute, which brings me to the point. GSK Lal say what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out of control lunatics, pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. That is what JHK Lal said, and I will keep reminding people about it. They sit down there as government, but they're in government. Them are, according to JHK Lal, gang of gangsters, and it's been revealed every day. You go to the nation and you lie all the time, and these things are easily proven. Easily proven. They can go to the nation, he lied on tape. Proven easily. And again, let me remind you, PPPC, pedophiles, perverts, predators, and corruption or criminals, you can substitute the C. That is what you have. The evidence is there. The evidence is there. May Thomas, allegation against Dharam Lal, all them is big thing in the PPP Central Executive, and others. It is all about corruption with them. And then when people talk out about it, they use the state. And I'm going to read something more when we come next. This matter ain't done. This matter ain't finished. I'm going to read some more about some of the comments that have been made. We're going to analyze it further when we come the next time. But that is what you have. They use the apparatus of the state to go after people. There's an editorial recently in Daily News, what name, Voice. It's their Village Voice. There's an editorial recently on Village Voice. It's good for you to read and to see how people are assessing what is going on in the same box situation. But we are going to come back and we are going to make sure that we bring the information to you. Folks, it was nice having you here this morning. Lots of big, massive turnout today, as was to be expected. Massive, massive turnout. And God's Spirit Life, we will come again on Monday. We're going to continue with this same subject. How things happen every day, you get new stuff. Remember, we ain't even got to talk about the murder yet, you know. We ain't talk about the murder of this liar and how the way it was handled. We ain't hear nothing further. Whether it is continuing or what, since the police was allowed to commit suicide. We ain't hearing nothing further. But we're going to bring all of these things. We're going to keep them on the forefront. We're going to keep them. So, folks, stay well. And God's willing, we'll come again. We schedule Monday, but as I told you, you subscribe to the channel, you hit the notification button. If we decide that something comes up or we got to come before, we got to advertise it and you're going to get the notification. So until then, stay well. Bye.